What is up, GOAT World? It is me, your boy JDZ, and I'm back at you again with another GOAT format video. Every now and then I have to remove my commentator, Yugi tuber, whatever you want to call it, headset and get into the dueling arena myself, especially when there's an IRL capacity. I love playing GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! I love playing IRL, and I just so happened to have the opportunity to do that, and I was fortunate enough to win this really cool, awesome Light and Darkness Dragon playmat from the regionals that came to my local area, and they were hosting Time Wizard side events. So make sure you're checking the Konami website and see if you can find a Time Wizard event in your area, because they have these cool mats, and if you play Go format you can show up to those and they'll host them, and they're really cool. This is the second one that I've been to, and this one was leaps and bounds better than the first one that I went to in terms of organization and preparedness. I thought it was very well ran, and they're starting to find their rhythm and get it together, and I just happened to win this mat. And some duels in the Discord were asking to see the deck profile, the deck that I used, and I will be more than willing to show you that. Just keep in mind that this is an IRL event. The IRL meta and the online meta are completely different, so make sure you know that and use this deck with caution if you decide to use a deck like this. I got a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places. I had 4 decks with me when I went there, and I was able to peep the scene, and I saw some of the stuff that was floating around, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to go into this event, I felt that the chaos control strategy would be the best for me. It's the deck I'm most comfortable playing, and it goes into the field of the rogue and random strategies a lot easier than most of the other decks in our metagame. So I went with the chaos control deck, and I will show you that right now. Okay, but first, make sure you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. We are very close to the 6,000 threshold, so let us do that here on goatformat.com. All right, so first, obviously chaos control, you're going to have to play BLS, obviously standard. Chaos sorcerer is pretty much the golden ratio. 3 thunder dragons standard, breaker standard, Sangin, serpent, tribe. It's all pretty much staples at this point. You know, we're going to also include the Tsukiyomi. I put that kind of as a staple when you're playing this deck. Yeah, Tsukiyomi is kind of mandatory as well. So these are basically the staples. You got to have it to make the deck. I also wanted to just go with 2 Magician of Faith instead of 3, or however you want to do that. A lot of some control players usually like to play 3, but I decided to go 2 because I wanted to make this version a little more aggressive, and I didn't want to just constantly be setting. A lot of control decks, they kind of can set and flip and generate their advantage that way too, but I wanted to kind of focus on attacking my opponent and try to end the game as quick as I can. Because like I said, in these events, you know, there's skill drain floating around, there's zombies floating around, there's all kind of weird things that are happening. I'm trying to end it via attacking, also taking control with the control aspects of the deck. So that's why I went with the 2 Magician of Faith. So as far as the aggressive pack, I elected to actually play the skilled Dark Magician, and I have to give special shout outs to the LRG organization for putting me onto that card. They've been using this card to great effect for some time now, and in the chaos control deck, I think it is well situated to support what you're trying to accomplish, especially in an aggressive style build like I wanted to have. I think the Skilled Dark was a great card for this because he is Tsukiyomi proof. This stat line, this 19 and 17, is just so important sometimes. Because if you notice in our metagame, the biggest thing that your opponent is going to do to counter any type of chaos deck, or any type of chaos control deck, or any type of go control deck, is typically going to be King Tiger Wangu and Book of Moon. This card kind of handles both of those cards within himself, because it's robust 1700 defense and that 1900. This guy's eating King Tigers all day. This guy's eating Kaikus all day. Can't be souped. And also that the effects for the spells to gain encounters also comes up way more often than you would think, to saturate your graveyard with the correct nutrients. You know, you have that dark monster on call whenever you need it. So he does everything I need him to do. This card was great. Going into those rogue builds, like I said, those rogue strategies, slapping down a 1900, 1700 monster sometimes would just get the job done. So I really enjoy Skill Dark. I think if you are playing the chaos control deck, give it a shot and tell me what you think about it before you immediately start judging. Also, I wanted to keep that aggressive approach. I just like to go with the DD Warrior Lady. Again, just a super solid Tsukiyomi proof card. I wanted all my attacking monsters to be Tsukiyomi proof. I thought that was really important. And I went with the Spear Reaper as well. Again, I use this guy very aggressively. I didn't really set Spear Reaper unless it was completely mandatory, but I really was summoning this guy beside the Skill Dark, beside the DD Warrior Lady, beside a Chaos Monster, just trying to get pluses where I can, ripping cards from the opponent's hand. It was good in that regard. And the last monster card I wanted to use was the Abyss Soldier. I saw some Italian duelists using the Abyss Soldier to great effect in their chaos control builds, and I was like, you know what, let's give it a shot, because the games do tend to draw long. And I will eventually get the Sinister Serpent to my hand. I will eventually get the Tribe Infected Virus to my hand in the pinch that I need it. The Abyss Soldier is also Tsukuyomi approved. He has the 1800 robust stat line for attacking. I think this card is really good as well. So that's why I wanted to go with the Abyss Soldier. I tried it out and he actually did very good. He came up quite a few times in this tournament and I thought that was cool. So shout out to the Abyss Soldier. You know, where the whale's at. Let me know. Free Willy in the building. All right, so moving on. That's the monster lineup I went with. Moving on to the spells and traps, obviously you're going to go full trend, you know, got to have it, no reason not to play it. I got the Heavy Storm. I have 2 Noblemen's, pretty much standard. Snatch Steel, standard. I elected to go with double Book of Moon because I am, spoiler alert, I am playing Decree, so I think Book of Moon is good because it provides you defense, it helps protect your Chaos Monsters, it helps reset your Magician of Faith, and, you know, don't play that many flips, it helps in that regard as well. And also in the mirror, you know, because there was a lot of GOAT-based strategies floating around too, so this card helps me out in that regard as well. So I went with the 3 Scapegoats. Again, it was just a lot of jank, a lot of Stein, a lot of Rogue, a lot of stuff. I just wanted something to provide a little bit more cushion, a little more defense going into the wild wilderness that it is. You know what I'm saying? You got Stein floating around, you got Reasoning Gate floating around, you got all kinds of stuff that was there. I just didn't want to take any chances. I just went maximum Scapegoats, and it came up a lot. You know, there were some really aggressive decks, and I was able to just stall off enough with the Scapegoats, and then I can get to one of my 3 metamorphs that I'm having as well, and then just extend the game a little bit and just make it, and then just trust in my skill set to be able to carry me through a lot of those grindier matches. And the 3 Scapegoats and the 3 metas kind of helped me out in that regard. For the spell card tech choices I elected to go with the main deck Swords of Revealing Light, again for the same reason, just goes into jank very well. I saw a lot of Italian players using this card too in the main deck and the control deck, and it worked out really well for me too, so I would try that. And then I tried the Lightning Vortex in the main deck. This was huge as well. Again, just think about playing in a GOAT meta. Your opponent's always going to have a full board of either tokens or different cards. If they overcommit, they play too much, you got the Lightning Vortex, clean it up, and then you're back on the attack. So this card came up pretty good for me as well. And then the final card I elected as the spell, I played the Premature Burial. The Premature Burial goes great with the Abyss Soldier, it goes great with the Skill Dark, it goes great for reoccurring my Chaos Mons. But at the same time, I understand this is an extremely bricky deck already. Adding another brick to your deck is never a good idea, but I elected to do that because, again, I knew the game was going to grind out longer and I wanted to be aggressive on my approach. So I was like, okay, if I have a Premature Burial, I can reloop that thing with the Abyss Soldier, get another Premature in, and just kind of push for maximum damage because I am supported by my trap lineup of Royal Decree and such. So that's the spell lineup that I went with. Again, it was, I don't recommend this deck for online too much, but in that event, it just happened to work out pretty good for what I was doing. All right, going into the traps, I had, like I said, I was on Royal Decree, so I wanted to play, I didn't go with the 3 full Royal Decree in the main deck because during, you know, as I play this deck often, I see that I find myself drawing Royal Decree so much, and it's just so stupid when you have multiple Royal Decrees in your hand and you already got one on the field and you just got in this weird little spot or whatever. Or, you know what I'm saying, you find yourself in a mirror, or you find yourself in a Reasoning Gate kind of situation, and Royal Decree is dead anyway, and you're just drawing all these Royal Decrees. So I just want to keep it at 2 in the main, and then I went with a Real Trap of Mirror Force and Ring of Destruction. The biggest regret I had is probably not playing Torrential Tribute. I think I should have played, looking back on it, if I could do this again. Granted, if I could do this again, the results obviously went the way I wanted them to go, but if I could do this again, I would definitely play Torrential Tribute because there were some opportunities there that my opponents were just playing right into it, and I just didn't have it to play. If I did, I could have got some serious plusage. So Torrential Tribute is way too good. It's good online, but it's even better IRL. I don't know what I was thinking, not main deck of Torrential Tribute, but that was the deck that I elected to use for that event. Tell me what you think about the main deck before we jump over to the side deck. Again, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. No big deal. All right, so going into the side deck for this event, I elected to go, again, I know this is going to be a GOAT based meta, so I want to be prepared for that. I went with the 2 Ashura Priest. Okay, the blue slapper smacking those goats was great all day. Again, I went with the 1 Berserk Gorilla. I know this dude is not Tsukuyomi proof, but for the warriors that were there, or for the rogue strategy that was there, just sometimes slapping down a 2,000, 1,000 attack beast it'll just get there. It'll just get there sometime. And this guy was super strong for me, so I enjoyed having the Berserk Gorilla in the side deck. Just a one of, just a guy that can just throw in and just say, "Do your thing." I need that sometimes. Just as a, maybe it's just a confidence booster. Maybe he's not even needed for the deck, but I just felt like, okay, if I just got Berserk Gorilla in my deck, I can make something happen. And when he came out, I never felt bad drawing him when I put him in, so it was good. Another card I had was the Mobius Frost Monarch. Again, great, good against burn, against all the other nonsense stuff, that might come up. You can have, a good solid Mobius is just solid, a solid card. So another interesting choice I wanted to go with, something I've been trying out and something I've been seeing other duelists doing it as well, was just side decking the, I wanted to put 2 Mystic Swordsman level 2s in there. I did that because I was playing a lot of mind controls and a lot of all this other stuff, but I felt that those cards just weren't good enough, because sometimes I'll mind control, I'll take the faith, I'll get the faith, or I'll mind control, I'll take the spy. I don't play spy, so it was just like, okay, I'm just negging myself. Or I'll mind control, I'll take the Dekoichi, I get the draw and I give it back. So I figured, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do that, I might as well just play this guy, because this guy could just slap it and it just acts as like as a knock anyway. Sometimes you just put it down, zap the card, and then you move on. And also what this guy does, it forces your opponent to do things that they wouldn't necessarily normally do. You know what I'm saying? You put this guy down, you attack the Dekoichi, you kill the Dekoichi. The next turn, they're going to try to, if they're playing the turbo deck, or if they're playing a flip heavy base strategy, they're going to try to remove this thing at the utmost priority. They're going to try to get this thing out of there. So they'll bring out, Gravekeeper Spy in attack position, try to attack over this guy, and then, if they kill it, whatever, you're coming back over the top with Skill Dark, you're coming back over the top with Berserk Gorilla or somebody, and then you're just wailing on that thing. Or, you go into your Metamorphosis, and now your Thousand Eyes has a stat line that you can now, put more pressure on them with. So I really enjoyed this card. I saw the Player of the Year using this card in his side deck, in his control deck, and I was like, man, that's very interesting, and I started trying it, and I've been having some pretty good results with it myself. So maybe just give it a shot, just on its own, no rotas, no anything like that, just the little dude in the side, slap him in and draw him and slam it on the field and see what happens. So that's what I went with, and it was going crazy too. I played some and it's good against burn as well. He can get under the floodgates, he can kill the cyber jars, he can kill the set dead koalas and all that crap, you know what I'm saying? So this guy is pretty solid card. So I would definitely check out the Mystic Swordsman level 2 on the side. Just give it a shot and tell me what you think. All right, again, going into spells, I had the one of Mystic Walk. I wanted to play more Mystic Walk, but I can't seem to find the other copies of my Mystic Walks. They're somewhere in my bulk somewhere. I can't track them down. So my Mystic Walk, I'm relegated to just a 1, and it was fine. It did what it had to do. I played my burn matchups were no issue. I have the 1 Mystical Space Typhoon in the side as well. I do have the 1 of Mind Control again for the turbo. So if I go, I do keep it in, especially if I'm just very reluctant to how I use it, trying to make sure I get the face and the face only, or I'm banishing some chaos with this thing. Really just for the turbo matchup, I'll put that in there. I did have the 1 of Soul Release as well. Again, I see some Italian players using this, and this card is actually quite good as well. This card is so good. My turbo match, the one of turbo match that I had to play, this card came up huge, because right now the way the builds are going, the way the builds are happening is that they'll have the 2 Faith, they'll have the 3 Thunder Dragons, and that's it on the light monsters. So if you can come out with a timely Nobleman Cross out, hit the Magician of Faith, wait patiently, and then soul release the Thunder Dragons, what are they gonna do? Like, their chaos is completely offline. They'll have the light monster for the BLS, but they gotta finesse the BLS into the graveyard, and then they got 1 shot at Sork on you, and then you can just vibe for the rest of that. You don't really have to worry too much. So I'm digging the soul release in the side coming in. I'm not exactly sold on exactly how good it is, but it's pretty solid. I've had some mixed results with it. Sometimes you're late game, you're topping and you're dying with the soul release in your hand, but it's fine. I think I replaced the soul release with Kaiku, and I've been having some pretty much similar results. No big deal. I went with the 1 of, again, just a bunch of sacky 1 of. I'm just a sacky 1 of kind of guy. I got the 1 of Creature Swap. I thought that was cool. Just having it in there, and again, going into game 2, you got your Assure Priest, you got your Creature Swaps, you got your Creature Swap, you got your Scapegoats. It can work. It can work, especially against Warriors, especially against Burn. Creature Swap is quite good against stuff like that. Even Turbo Creature Swap is quite good as well. So I thought this was cool, and I enjoyed having it in there. And then the one funky tech card I elected to use was going to be the Share the Pain. You guys know I love me some Share the Pain. Even though people have told me several times this card sucks, you should never use it. But I love Share the Pain. I think it's slept on. I think it's underrated. I think that in the burn matchup that I did play, this card did come up because you tribute a token, pop a cyber jar. You know, it gets all the weird stuff that comes up. You know, the Last Warriors from Another Planet, the King Dragoons, the freaking just the random stuff that happens. You know, you get it comes up and it's huge when it does. You know, it's completely unnecessary, but when it comes up, it's so big that you just feel like you just did the greatest thing in the world. There was one instance where I had the Thousand Eyes on the field. I had lethal monsters ready to attack, and then I ended up having to Share the Pain. I Share the Pain, pop the Thousand Eyes, and then just attack with everyone else. And it was just Thousand Eyes, take the guy, Share the Pain, kick the Thousand Eyes off, and then attack with pop their other guy and then attack in. So it was really cool. Stuff like that can happen. It's very rare, but I just like this card. I love the artwork and the way it looks. So Share the Pain, I roll with that. And then for the traps, I did have the third Royal Decree, which was good against certain matchups. I did have the Torrential Tribute. Like I said, this card was really good when I did side it in. I probably wish I would have just mained it the whole time and just had it the whole time. So looking back on it, I probably just go Torrential Tribute in the main deck. And then the last card was Regeki Break. Just another solid trap card that can do a lot of things for a lot of different matchups. I just wanted to be as versatile as I can. So this is the deck. This is the 55 that I used that won me this beautiful Light and Darkness Dragon mat. You know, ooh, love to see it. So if you want one of these mats, again, make sure you reach out to that Konami website. They have regionals planned all over the place, all over the country and world. So they'll host those side events so you can get out there and get one of these for yourself. Tell me what you think about these actual card deck profiles. You know, I can do more of these too. Again, special shout out to my Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling team, the Ultra Instinct team. Those guys and gals are always helping me out and holding me down, keeping me grounded, you know, because sometimes I'll just get spice overload, but they'll kind of make me understand, and I've become a much better player for being around those fine individuals. And also shout out to all of you for being a part of this community and watching this video. Thank you so much. It means so much to me. So tell me what you think about this deck. If you hate it, if you like it, tell me what you like about it. If you hate it, tell me what you hate about it, and what we can do to make this deck a little bit better. Okay, but until then, as always, I'm JDZ. I play GOATs. Until the next time, shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs. Peace.
This program was made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.